sometimes, you know, they sell it services cheaper, but then you gotta watch out what type of chemicals they use, if it's approved by the FDA or not. You know, some they could be in violation and still using it. A good example is that MMA that they use for the acrylics. You know, I mean, that's already banned by OSHA, but there are still some salons out there that are still using it because to them, as a business standpoint, it's cost effective. But for us, for safety, they just consider this rather than the overall safety of the public or their clients, you know? So that's why I kind of brought that up, and Professor, to kind of say it in detail what that UL tag is, because it's very, very important. It's all about safety. And actually tomorrow they are going to do a presentation on safety on electrical equipment. So
yeah, when you're working on...
Can you run through some of the safety?
Exactly. First of all, here we made sure everything this is on plastic, okay? And we don't have, except her and we're fine. Julie, I like to wear bracelets, and so I'm not married. Who cares? But anyway, rings gotta come off when you're working around electricity. I know you're in a beauty salon, right? You want to keep yourself looking nice, but you know what? Keep yourself safe. Take off your jewelry. Don't let this hang. You know why? Even this, I don't like to wear. We turn around, I tell these guys, tuck it in here. Even though it's not conductive, it doesn't conduct electricity. But you could be wearing a gold. Gold and silver are the best conductors for electricity. When you have electromagnetism, what does that do? Pulls. You'll be here. Okay? So that's what you have to watch out also. Especially when you have equipment like one of those, I forget the name, when you put them over your head and the lady sits down. Those pretty much are safe. Those blow dryers, you sit there, that's a lot of power going into that machine there. A lot of electricity going in there. And it could hurt the person and it could hurt you too. And if somebody does get hurt and it goes into electric shock, do you know what to do? It's a good idea to get trained on it. Really. You have to be able to identify. Because a lot of times people die because a person does not know what to do, how to save that person's life when they go into electric shock. Red Cross does give classes on that. Is you get a little card. And that'll look really nice too. Besides your license, by the mirror, the Red Cross aid. Don't drop that on me. I'll charge you if you do. I'll revive you and I'll charge you for that too. There's a fee for that. Yeah. Make sure you're properly grounded. And the equipment is properly grounded. Like this here, this has a ground. Wherever you use it has a ground. The cord here, this one has a ground. Okay? But this one here, oddly enough, doesn't have a ground. So that means, I looked at this before, it's grounded in here. The blow dryers that you have only two, right? But what's the casing made out of?
Plastic.
So it's grounded right on the plastic. But most of the ones, and the heavy duty ones actually, even those ones you put overhead, come with three because the ground is directly to the wall. Make sure your equipment is grounded properly. And one way to make sure, the plastic ones, if it's all plastic, like a lot of people have here, it's grounded on that chassis right there. So it's not going to be conductive to you. Older ones that are metal and have two of these here, get rid of them. They're not grounded properly. Okay?
Well, most of those beauty salon has a GFI recyclable.
Yeah, here they don't have any at all.
They don't have any, I'm surprised why. Well, they don't have the faucet with water closing.
And the circuit breakers, what is your normal amperage for your circuit breakers for a place like a beauty salon? Do you guys know? You have to find out. Good idea to find out. I would suggest that is something to do.
Isn't that's part of the, you know, when you're, like I was telling them, when they're starting up a salon or they're buying a business, you know, because eventually most of them, that's their goal, right?
Right.
And I told them that it has to pass through inspection before they can even get the license, the business license to open up. And I know Osceola County is pretty stringent about that. You know, because the fire marshal has to come in and building inspector's got to come in. And that's the one thing that they would check, to make sure it's all about safety. You know?
Make sure these make sure these are have a good wall. I mean, this should have a cover, but this ain't too bad, it's not loose. But you don't want to, somebody here, if you're talking like, yeah, professor, this is what's happening, and all of a sudden you put it the wrong way, that's not very safe. You should have this covered up, especially up here too. You know? On the side, yeah, everywhere. Should have that proper, that really 30-cent plate could save somebody's life. Because you never know. We're human beings, we make mistakes. Nobody here is perfect. That's what you have to think about. You might be a great hairstylist, a great air conditioning technician or an engineer, but you're still a human being. Always give yourself that second chance. Any questions? Any more questions? Is there anything else?
No? Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
Thank
it
you
was
very
a pleasure.
much.
It was a pleasure for us to come.